Hey, ladies and gents, and welcome to episode 9 of the Controlled Interests Gamecast, where we talk about video games and everything happening in the industry. As always, I'm joined by Jordan.
Top of the morning to ya.
And Dominic.
What?
So, we're going to get right into what we've been playing.
They're stealing me Lucky Charms.
Oh, God. We're going to get right into what we've been playing. I haven't been playing much lately. All I really played was Pokemon this week, just fuffing around in it. I've been watching Christopher Odd, a YouTuber who's known for playing through the Souls games. I've been watching him play through Dark Souls 3, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get my hands on that game, and I was just yearning for it. So that's pretty cool. The game looks awesome. Looks like it's arguably the best game in the series. Yeah, pretty much that's it. And super stoked that they announced a Punisher series for Netflix, which is not surprising to anybody. What about you guys? What have you guys been playing this week?
I got a bunch of new games this week. So mostly I've been playing Alienation, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, and enjoying it very much. As well as Quantum Break, which is also a super dope game. And just finished the first episode of the show, and that is also really cool. Kind of weird how it doesn't have the main character of the game, but it does have everyone else from the game in the show, but you know, that's whatever. Probably just budgeting. And then besides that, I've been playing quite a bit of Final Fantasy III on the Vita, which is some good old-fashioned turn-based JRPG fun.
Awesome. What about you, Dom?
So I've still been dabbling in Ratchet and Clank. I think I'm pretty close to being done with that. Otherwise, I just finished Daredevil Season 1, which I gotta say, pretty good. Pretty good. The finale in particular was a huge payoff. I mean, the show was obviously great all along, but one of the better finales I've seen for a season of any TV show. So, also, I forgot to mention last week, I also finished American Crime Story. So the producers from American Horror Story, did this quick crime season show or whatever on the O.J. Simpson case, which the timing that they released this is perfect for people like me who kind of have heard of, O.J. Simpson and everything, but don't really know a lot of the details that people who are older got to live through at the time. So really cool, a lot of insightful stuff while it's still being a really good show too. So definitely recommend it.
I second that recommendation.
Awesome. Did you pull the trigger on Bravely Default? You were talking about getting it earlier this week.
Shoot, no, I have not yet. I probably will in the next few weeks here once I finish school and all that sort of stuff. Finally graduating college. Otherwise, as of 15 minutes ago, I bought Gone Home on PC for only $5.
Awesome.
So not too bad. Finally have to get through that. It's an injustice that I haven't played it yet, apparently.
This comes by way of GameRant.com, Sarah Fields. Xbox One second generation on the way. So they're trying to figure out a way to get around the naming problem that we talked about last week, Jordan. It states, leaked Microsoft production notes may reveal the existence of a new version of the Xbox One, tentatively referred to as the Xbox One second generation. So they're going Star Trek with it, I guess.
Jesus.
Rumors have swirled around both Sony and Microsoft, with small hints and leaks hinting at the possibility of new versions of the two current-gen consoles being released. At this point, neither company has officially revealed anything, but a new leak may indicate that a new version of the Xbox One is actually happening. So this is no surprise. We were assuming that, every console generation that we've been used to is the last console generation is there's a slim version. Obviously, the Neo is seen as a more powerful system to work in congruence with PSVR and a lot of other things. There was actually a Chinese manufacturer image that was revealed that showed that the product's weight is less than the Xbox One. So people are assuming it's a brand new console as far as its look. Like, it's lighter. It's probably the quote-unquote slim version. Which is interesting because we still haven't... in all of the leaks, there's nothing saying what Neo's going to look like, right? It just is the performance of it. There hasn't been anything talking about what the console's going to look like, right? So we can just presume it's going to look the same.
One thing that tells me is that the power brick is not inside the console. Throwing it out there.
Yeah.
If it's
Microsoft
lighter.
never does that.
Yeah, it's always been outside of the console. You just plug it in the back and it's part of it. What do you guys think about this? It's not a shocker, right? Ooh, the Xbox 1.5. It's not really surprising. It's interesting, though, how people are going to handle this in comparison to the Neo, right? I don't think people are going to be as angry, or say people are going to be angry, because they're not the leaders in the race.
Well, that's why when everyone asks, well, why would Sony do the Neo, right? Like, what's prompting this? Like, they're doing great. Why do they need this? I think the answer to that question is probably a little bit of something to do with VR, but also that's what Microsoft is doing, or they want to be able to compete with whatever Nintendo is putting out too. I think this is it's all three are going this way, and that's kind of they're prompting each other to do it. That's my guess anyway.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that PlayStation and Xbox actually have consoles that are selling, and then they're making a new one. It's not they're forced to make a new one because it's not selling. So it's a little different, but I do agree with you. They're all down the same avenue. It's interesting though because this is all going to come down to I think pricing and messaging. We've talked about this a million times, but like obviously pricing is going to be a huge factor. What these come out as, like if this is just a slim model of the Xbox that's already out, obviously it'll probably be a little bit powerful. There's no reason to release a new version of the console if it's the same. But it's going to be interesting how these 2.5s come out in pricing, and how different they are as far as power, and how that changes the pricing of their current consoles. I think this is just it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. But I guess Neo's happy that this information leaked because they're like, no, we're not the only ones doing a 0.5, so.
Right.
Right. Jordan, what do you think about this whole Xbox news? It's not surprising, right?
No, I think with all three of these consoles, it's about time like somebody actually comes out and says something official. And even like Sony, I don't know. I guess everybody's just waiting for E3, but like there's so many leaks. There's so many leaks about the PS 4.5 that it can't be fake. Yeah. There's no way that it isn't real. And so, like we've discussed on prior shows, I just think that not allowing yourself to control the message as Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo is just shooting yourself in the foot. So, you can change E3 plans. You don't have to wait till E3. Get out there and do a blog post or do a video, whatever you need to do,
They should do something really quick just to say, yep, this is real.
Yeah.
Real brief details, maybe a sentence or two, and then finish by saying, we're going to talk more about it at E3.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
And then it's Sony's message instead of, Kotaku leaking stuff from a source.
Right.
The interesting thing, too, about this is that Nintendo has the easiest way to market their message and get their message out there because they are conventionally known for not being at E3. Like, they do their Nintendo Directs. So if it's the easiest one out of the three is them to just do a Nintendo Direct and talk about it. Obviously, Xbox and PlayStation can do their own thing, too, before E3, but they're a little bit more tied, and that's not an excuse, but Nintendo has no excuse. They never really are at E3. They should make a Nintendo Direct talking about this. You know what I mean?
So I think that's a great point because, they'll just pop up and be like, oh, we're just going to do a Direct about Smash Bros. DLC characters, but we're too scared to talk about the NX. Like, what are you doing? The
bit of information they just released about the NX was only because they had to for like an investor meeting, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The thing too that's weird, man, with Nintendo is so apparently the rumor is their only E3 presence is going to be Zelda, which is like why would the only thing
that's confirmed?
Is it confirmed?
Hang on.
Yeah.
The only playable experience they're going to have, they said, is going to be Zelda.
Oh, okay.
They're going to show other games, but just that's going to be the main focus and the only thing playable, I believe it.
That's so weird for you not having a console launching the same year and to show off a game that's not coming out till next year. Like, you're really just shitting on the Wii U owners more and more. It's like
we're gonna have much in the pipeline.
You can come to E3 to play this game you won't be able to play till you spend more money on a console that might fail like our last one. That's what I hear.
The fact that NX is not coming out this year is, in my opinion, devastating for the state of Nintendo because
I agree.
They were already rolling around in the mud, and now they're just like they're even worse off than they already were. I'm almost starting to feel like not feel bad, but I'm starting to get like worried for the state of Nintendo and how hard they're screwing this up right now.
Because everyone that is looking or able to buy something, buy a console this fall, or in the next year, is going to this fall when these new PlayStation X and Xboxes come out, right? They're either going to replace what they already have, or the people who haven't gotten a new console are going to start with these upgraded ones. And then a couple months later in spring, there's not going to be as many people looking to buy something. I mean, Nintendo's going to be stuck as like the thing you buy just for the Nintendo exclusives, which obviously hasn't worked out for them in the past.
Well, and the fact that they're missing the Christmas season is just bad too.
Right. huge.
Here's the thing: is like, so when this fall would come around, if the NX was releasing, right? I'm not saying everyone would do this, but you're sitting there, and you're like, I can spend $400 on VR, I can spend money on the new PlayStation, or you know what? Sony's delivered a message that my PlayStation 4 is still good. I don't need to buy the new one. It's a luxury item. So instead of me spending money on that, I'll just, you know what, Nintendo, this is a different Nintendo. I'm going to buy their console because everything looks good. You know, apparently they would have their, obviously, E3 press conference. The console looks awesome. And you would be able to sell to people who are on the fence of upgrading their current console, you know? And the whole messaging, Microsoft's probably going to have the same messaging. Your Xbox One is fine. If you want to upgrade, you can. PlayStation's probably going to do the same thing, right? And it's dumb not to catch people at a time when they're expecting, okay, I'm going to probably want to spend money on a new console. And instead of getting in there, they're just going to delay it. People are going to spend their money this fall, buy their upgraded consoles. That's if the Microsoft one comes out too. And then they're going to be like, well, I already just upgraded my console, and it's just as powerful as the NX. You know? Assuming. Yeah. It's just, it's bad. I think it's very terrible timing.
Think about this. They had shitty timing last time with the Wii U when they decided to just jump out in front of everybody and release their console before it was obvious that Sony and Microsoft were about to release. And now they're doing the opposite where they're too late to the party, and Sony and Microsoft are going to beat them to the punch this time. It's just more of this whole Nintendo being Nintendo and doing their own thing. And if they want to stay in the video game industry as a hardware manufacturer, they have to start making video game hardware that people want to play. Because they've been making toys for the last 10 years that people want to play, but not as much as they need them to want to play. They need people buying more software. They need people buying these games and involving themselves in the Nintendo ecosystem the way that Dom and I are involved in the PlayStation ecosystem, or Jared with Xbox and PC. It's like there's very few people at this point that really give a crap about Nintendo, and they're just losing fans by the day.
Plus, it's always, Nintendo's systems have always been a secondary console, right? Like, who owns just a Wii U or just a Wii? You don't. You own them in addition to your primary console, an Xbox or a PS4.
The worst part is they have the biggest discrepancy between software and hardware. They make fantastic games. That's never been an issue. No one ever says Nintendo makes bad games. It's no one wants to buy their console because no one makes third-party games, and I don't want to buy a console for, like, 4 games a year. You know, like, it's just...
Right.
It's the discrepancy there. I know so many people that are like, man, if Mario or Zelda were released on the Xbox or PlayStation, I would buy it. But I'm not going to buy it because I don't own their console. And, like, I'm with a lot of people in this. My heart says I want Nintendo to succeed because, you know, people love Nintendo. But the gamer in me just wants them to fail in the hardware market because I want to be able to play their software. They make great software, you know? It's just, it's so sad.
It will happen.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, the Mario games would be selling more than Call of Duty if they were multi-platform. And that's the sad part here. You know, people buy the shit out of Mario Kart and Smash Brothers, and they have some of the highest attach rates for any game of any console. And Nintendo's just being stupid by not putting their games out on other systems. They'd just be making money hand over fist.
Smash Bros and Mario Kart would sell gangbusters. The sales they would have for those two games, man, would be it would be ludicrous. I don't know. It's insane to me. Let's move on. We've talked about this enough. Nintendo, you get no more of us talking about you for a week. So the biggest story to me comes by way of Polygon. Michael over at Polygon writes, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered includes campaign and 10 multiplayer maps, thanks to a Canadian poster leak. It was announced earlier in the week, or leaked earlier in the week, that an image of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare by Infinity Ward, because why not be confusing? The new Call of Duty game coming out this year is going to ship alongside Call of Duty 4 Remastered if you buy the special edition, which is like, I was looking at the Canadian prices on the poster. A regular game is like $80 or $90, and special edition's like $110. And here, obviously, it's $60 to $65 and $80-ish for the first tier of special editions. People were worrying that this was just going to be the campaign because it's easier to remaster the campaign, didn't have a fully fleshed multiplayer. But thanks to this poster, it actually shows that there's going to be 10 multiplayer maps. I don't know how ingrained you guys are in the Call of Duty community. I stopped playing Call of Duty about 3 years ago, but I was super involved. I loved Call of Duty. It was my shooter of choice because you can say what it is about the game coming out every year, but their game is solid. The gameplay mechanics are solid. And I actually was super in love with Call of Duty for Modern Warfare 2, and I started falling out of it as the years went on. This makes me want to buy the new Call of Duty. I'll play the Infinite Warfare campaign because it's there, but I just want the remake. I want to know from you guys, how are you involved in like the Call of Duty community? Is this a great announcement for you guys? Is this cool just to hear about? What are your guys' opinions on this?
I'm with you. I'm excited because Modern Warfare is still to this day the game I put the most hours into in my entire life, right? I've probably put like maybe 6 months worth of my life into that one game back in middle school, right? Like me and the pals would every day, that's all we did, and I got real good at that game, like real good.
It's simple too, which I love.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I'm pumped to see that that it's coming back, and this seems like it'll be the first Call of Duty I buy since like Modern Warfare 2, and mostly for the remake. Yeah, I'll play the new one for the campaign maybe, and that might be about it. But yeah, this is very smart. This is a real smart move by them.
I'm actually pretty surprised about the fact that it only has 10 multiplayer maps because I feel like you'd want all of them, right? I mean, are people really playing this game? Like, replaying the remaster for the campaign? Or, to me, it's obvious that if you remaster it for the new consoles, people want it for the multiplayer. So, it's kind of weird to me.
There was some DLC on Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but, people are there for the game as it was. And the campaign's really good. I think it has one of the most iconic Call of Duty campaigns outside of Modern Warfare 2. Simply, Modern Warfare 2 had the No Russian, I think that's the name of the mission, right? The airport mission? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Yep.
No Russian, I think. But I think it's 10 maps is more than enough. A lot of people just want to play, Downpour and Block and these classic maps that people love to play.
Oh, man.
And, I agree with you that it's weird that it's not all of them. But in the same token, I'm like, at least it's something. I have friends who have waited for a remaster since Xbox One and PS4 came out. Why are we getting this? Like, it's just... And the weird thing, too, is I think this also has to do with Battlefield 5 still being rumored as a World War I. I think they feel as if they might miss the mark, and people are going to lean more towards that and not really a space military shooter. And this almost guarantees more sales than what they were going to have because... For instance, Dom and I weren't even thinking about buying Call of Duty. I don't even care about it every year, right? But this was announced, and I'm like, God damn it, they got me.
It changes everything for me.
Yeah, God damn it, I'm buying it. And it's smart. It's a really good attachment to a game that a lot of people who were invested in Call of Duty wouldn't buy anyway. So the timing's great. I agree with you. The multiplayer maps only having 10 is weird, but it's better than 0. And it's a bad way to look at something, but... For people who've been waiting for this remake, Jordan, and it's actually happening, it's so amazing, man. It's so exciting. Like,
I'm happy for you, kids.
Thank you. I'm so excited. So, we're talking about Call of Duty. Call of Duty is known for making games over and over again. On the opposite end of that, there was actually an interview over at GameSpot with president of From Software, and I'm going to butcher this name, so sorry, Hidetaka Miyazaki? Close
Miyazaki. Oh, yeah, Miyazaki.
So he's basically saying he talks about moving on from the Soul series, New Horizons, and his secret obsession. He basically says he's ready to close the book on Dark Souls, and he stated that this also includes Bloodborne and Demon Souls. He basically states that the team wants to move on and forge a new IP, and they're done with the Souls games for the time being. They didn't say it's over, period, which is great news, right, Dom? But he said for the next couple of years they want to work on something new, something refreshing. They felt like they've gotten what they wanted to get out of Dark Souls and deliver it to gamers out there, and they just want to move forward. And these game companies get stuck in this rut of making the same game over and over again, and no matter how good the game is, sitting and staring at the same game for 10 years, you figure the 3 Dark Souls games combined, if that, maybe more, it gets boring no matter how good the game is. So spicing it up, rejuvenating those creative juices is awesome for a company. So how do you guys feel about Dark Souls not being around for the foreseeable future, at least?
I like it. I'm with you. Give them time to do what they want to do, and they will come back to it. They will. And most likely in the meantime, Sony might order up a Bloodborne sequel to be made by a different studio or something, and it will suck. Well, it won't be as good as a true Miyazaki FromSoft game, but and again, they'll make their one or two mech games in space or whatever it is they want to make, but eventually they're going to come back to the Souls series in some form, and we'll having given a break, it's going to be nice to get back into it at that point. So I'm okay with this. I'm starting to get the series fatigue anyway at this point. So
What about you, Jordan? What do you think about this whole news?
I think it's about time for them to try something else because if you think about it, I think there was 2 years in between Dark Souls 1 and 2. Is that right, Dom?
yep, that's right.
So 2 years in between that, and then you had Dark Souls 2, and then you had Bloodborne the next year, and then you have Dark Souls 3 this
It's
year.
annualized at this point, yeah.
So yeah, they're like an annualized studio without an annualized franchise, but yeah, I think they've just been pumping those things out and at really high quality. So I'd say, take a break and try something else.
Yeah, we've had a discussion before on like these companies, if they can deliver a good game year in year out, there's a difference between not having a game for 5 years and having a game every year, right? There's a middle ground you can hit, and I think too with the series fatigue, it's the whole, what's that saying? You either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain, i.e. Call of Duty. So I think taking a break is definitely, a lot of people aren't going to be mad. I'd assume people who actually think about this from a understanding perspective of like, just make something else, because it's what is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. If we don't have this series for a while, when it comes
Exactly.
back and we get that trailer for Dark Souls 4 surprise at E3 or Gamescom, whatever it happens to be, we're gonna be shocked because like, oh yeah, Dark Souls, I want to play it again. Instead of seeing it every year.
I'm gonna shit my pants, and then Call of Duty's gonna tweet the emojis at me.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard about that, Jordan, but the way it was confirmed, quote unquote, is that Call of Duty went to a tweet they got like when the PlayStation 4 was released, and some kid was like, if I see the words Call of Duty 4 remastered on PS4, I'll shit my pants. They replied to that tweet this week with a poop emoji and a pants emoji, which is really cool. It's a really brilliant way of like confirming but not confirming. But going back to Dark Souls, they've tackled this like this high fantasy kind of realm, like I guess dark fantasy really. What do you guys think their new IP is going to be? Like, do you think it's going to be this kind of game where it's like third person-y? Do you think it's going to be something we wouldn't even expect from? Like, what do you guys think it's going to be?
I think it'll still be a tough game. I think it'll be hard, but I think it'll be a totally different type of game.
I think it'll be a kart racer.
That would be hilarious.
So the interesting thing is like, so people talk about how good Dark Souls games are. They have some of the best like map layouts in gaming, like the way things connect and intertwine, like world building. I honestly think they're second to none. The way they, like, for instance, with bonfires, you'll come to a bonfire, there's closed doors, and you branch off to these paths, and you come back, and it always leads back to the bonfire, right? And you make a shortcut, and everything gets shortened up. And the cool thing about that game too is you can come to certain parts of the game where you get a look at what you were just in. It's not this like pre-rendered area that you'll never be able to get to. It's an area you walk through, and it looks beautiful. It looks like a piece of art. I think they're I think they're one of the leaders in the industry at that, and I don't think they necessarily get the recognition they deserve. I think From's one of the top developers in the world right now, as far as like, I don't know, they're brilliant in the way they make games, man. It inspires me for somebody who wants to be a game dev in the future. They're a company I definitely look at and see like I take things from them and I want to mimic because they do it better than anybody. So
You're just walking along, you find a nice little lake, and then all of a sudden a 3-headed Hydra beast comes out of it and kills you in one swing of its neck.
yeah, but then when you actually kill it and you find this cave behind it, actually leads back to this bonfire you had at a chapel that you were in 30 minutes before in the game. It's like, that stuff's cool because you're like, oh, that connects. It's brilliant game making, and I think From is going to succeed in whatever they decide to do, and they earned a well-deserved break.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out the Controlled Interest Gamecast. If you want to stay up to date, remember to subscribe on YouTube and iTunes, and give us a follow on SoundCloud and on Twitter at CTRLINT. #SmashTheDunst!